The truth is, battle changes a person, not just war. The everyday battles, the ones no one sees, the ones that leave no medals, only scars. The ones that pile up over time, leaving behind an invisible armor no one else can see. And tonight, we step into the life of a soldier named Godfrey, a man who has fought more battles than he cares to count. Godfrey built walls, not just the metaphorical kind, the real ones. Stone by stone, he had enclosed his fortress behind towering battlements, guard towers at every corner, iron gates so heavy no man could lift them alone. He told himself it was for protection. The world was dangerous. He had learned that the hard way. His hands bore the marks of past struggles, scars from sword fights, burns from siege fires, gashes from battles he barely survived. His mind carried even deeper wounds. Every betrayal, every ambush, every fallen comrade had taught him one lesson: never let them in, never let them near. And so Godfrey locked the gates, both outside and in. The wall was meant to guard his home, but now it blocked the view of the sunrise, isolated him from the village, and muffled the laughter of children outside. Once he had enjoyed the warmth of the market square, the conversations with old friends, the sound of life moving around him. Now his world was quiet, too quiet. The fortress that protected him had also trapped him, and he had begun to feel it deep in his bones. Godfrey, a name meant for a free man, yet he had bound himself tighter than any prison could. Then came the knock. It was late, too late for any honest visitor. From the watchtower, the guards called down. A lone rider waited at the gate, torch in hand. Even through the shadows, Godfrey recognized the crest on the rider's tunic. Roland, his former brother in arms, the man who had once stood beside him in the thick of battle. The man Godfrey hadn't seen in years. Godfrey's pulse quickened. He stood at the window, his fingers hovering over the iron latch, the weight of his own rules pressing against him. He had built these walls for a reason: to stay safe, to never be betrayed again. But Roland did not ride away. Instead, he reached into his satchel and pulled out a weathered scroll, raising it for the guards to see. A wave of memory crashed over Godfrey. That parchment? It was theirs. A map they had drawn together long ago. Battle plans, hidden paths, marks of victories and losses. A time before fear dictated his life. A time when hope still burned in his heart. Roland's voice rang through the courtyard.
I know you're in there, and I know why you won't open the gate.
Silence.
I just came to tell you. These walls, they're not keeping danger out. They're keeping life out.
Godfrey's throat tightened. He wanted to ignore it, to pretend the words meant nothing. But the truth was a bitter taste in his mouth. He looked at the walls around him, the ones he had built with his own hands. Walls that shut out enemies, threats, and friends. Walls that protected him from pain, but also from healing. He had thought solitude would bring him peace, but it had only deepened his wounds. For all his strength, all his fortifications. The one battle he had never won was the one within himself. What good was a name like his if he had spent his years in chains of his own making? His fingers hesitated on the latch. The weight of years pressed down on him. If he opened the gate, what would happen? Would Roland betray him, as so many others had? Or was it possible, just possible, that outside these walls there was still something worth fighting for? A battle raged inside him, the same battle so many of us fight, the battle between protection and isolation, between past wounds and future possibilities, between fear and hope. And then, with a deep breath, The gate groaned as it opened, not all the way, just enough. And sometimes that's all it takes. When does caution turn into self-isolation? How often do we convince ourselves we're making the right choice for our safety, when in reality, we're just afraid of being hurt again? The Nine of Wands teaches us resilience, but also warns us. Walls meant to shield us can easily become cages. Strength is not just about endurance. It's about knowing when to lower our guard. Sometimes the bravest thing we can do is let someone in. Tonight, I leave you with this thought. What walls have you built? And are they keeping you safe or keeping you alone? If this story spoke to you, take a moment tonight to reach out to someone you've shut out. A letter, a visit, even a simple thought. And if you're ready, maybe, just maybe, open the gate.